welcome. Marlene here. Today I'm working on a Day of the Dead collaboration with my good friend Haniela. She made these adorable cookies and I'll be demonstrating how to make a buttercream cake. Now on to the step-by-step tutorial. Here's the cake. I'm just using my paper template here to cut it out. Here's my board. I'm just going to add a bit of icing to glue the cake down. I'm actually going to fill it with some white, save my purple for the outer decoration. So it needs more leveling along the edges. So I'm just adding my filling, and then I'll be able to put the other piece of cake upside down and have a nice flat surface to decorate. And we have a nice flat top to frost. Now I'm just going to crumb coat this cake so that I can add my purple outer color after. Just a thin layer of white. I'm going to be making several flowers. I'm starting here with some yellow nonpareil mini pearl sprinkles, and I've got some yellow buttercream here, and I'm just going to be making some little flower middles. I don't want this to be too big, looks like it's about the size of a dime here, and I'm just piping a little mound, and I'm going to be sprinkling this with my nonpareil. Let's see if I can dunk. Actually, I'm filling my little silicone container. I like these because you can just pick it up and re-pour back into your jar. So there, let's see if that sticks well. Oh, look at that pretty little flower middle. All right, now I've got my little buttercream mound, and I'm just gently pressing that into my little nonpareil, you see? And we're going to refrigerate, actually freeze these to be able to handle them. Look at how nice. I have a really in-depth video on these piping tips. If you want to check that out, I'll have the link in the description box. But just for right now, I'll show you generally what they do. I'm just resting on the surface of my table here, and I'm rocking back and forth and there is my color. All right, so what I'm going to do to insert this here, I'm just positioning that into the center of my flower here. And there we go. And now we have our cute little flowers that we can put in the freezer to add to the cake later. Here is the tip I'm using. It is a Wilton 190, and if you look, there's a center there. It creates a flower. It's not compatible with the adapter, so you just pop it into the piping bag like so. And now I'm putting my icing in there, working on the accent flowers, and all it is a little twist of the wrist, lift up, and done. And you can just make several of these and fill in any openings that you'd like to kind of hide or whatever. They're great little accents, and they're great little mistake hiders. The crumb coat has had time to chill, and now I'm just going to come in and add my top layer of icing, my final color. I've got here a 406 Wilton tip, popping that into my piping bag, cutting there, and now I've got my yellow buttercream that I'm just popping in here. Now I'm making flowers. I've got a piece of parchment paper on top of the eye because I know what size I want, and I'm just the big side is on the outside, and I'm just creating a petal, rotating. Just keep rotating. And there is the flower for inside the eye. And now for the middle, I've got these little googly eyes by Celebration. Now to finish the flower off, I've got a little gumball with a pupil on it. And there we have it. We're going to pop these in the freezer so that we can handle them. I've got my piping tip and I'm just holding down my parchment paper, squeezing, touch down, lift, and stop squeezing. And then you can put them in the freezer and you'll be able to add them to the cake once they've set up. Here's that cake, my cake. It's chilled. Now I'm going to add a ruffle border. I've got one of those ruffle tips in and I'm just going, I'm going to start, let's say here, and I'm just going to add that all around. Alright, so we have our ruffle border. I'm just going to smooth that down so that I can pipe on there. And now I'm just going to add an edge over here, around, like so. Now I can rest my template on the cake and just, whoops, outline everything. Now that I've got my ruffle on, I've put my guidelines, I can just come in now and trace the design. The purple, or the darker purple elements, have had time to chill, and now I'm just going to come in here and add my white I've filled in the bigger areas. Now I need a smaller kind of tip, so I'm just filling in the teeth. Here there was a little bit of a spot here I couldn't get into with the spatula. Here. So now it's kind of rough. I don't want to touch it. I'm actually going to add some saran wrap to it so I can just kind of touch it and smooth it out. And then when we put it in the freezer, I'll be able to peel it off and it'll be pretty smooth underneath. Cake was in the freezer just for a couple of minutes, and as you see here, we can lift off the saran wrap and it's pretty smooth. You can come in with your spatula and additionally kind of just take out the, here my purple is a bit hidden, I can kind of just scrape off the white. Well, let's not forget this is a skull, so if it's not perfect, it's not a huge deal. Let's start off with the eyes here. I'm just adding a few more of my flowers on here. And there we have it. I'd love to hear what you think of my little skull cake. Don't forget to head over to Henyella's channel and check out her Day of the Dead themed cookies. You'll find the link in the description box, or you can simply touch the image. If you'd like to watch any of the in-depth videos for the flowers, you'll find the links here or in the description box. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.